Let's go to another big issue because this has happened this afternoon. Now, it was about a week ago, I spoke with the CEO of Salmon Tasmania, Luke Martin, about the state of limbo the industry's been left in, with the Federal Environment Minister Tanya Plibersek mulling a review that could potentially see salmon fishing in Macquarie Harbour closed down. Well, today the industry and everyone who relies on it have been told they'll have to wait until after the next federal election before she'll make a determination on whether to close down Tasmania's salmon industry. Now, this might not be the worst possible outcome. Being shut down certainly is, but it's pretty close. And it strongly suggests to me and a lot of the salmon industry that Plibersek is just delaying her decision, knowing the electoral fallout. Joining me to discuss this now, Shadow Environment Minister, of course, Senator for Tasmania, Jonathon Duniam. Well, Senator, welcome. You obviously are a Tasmanian first and foremost. This is also your shadow portfolio area. I don't know, but this is a shocking outcome because the limbo continues with this. If the minister has the strength in her convictions, make the decision now. Why put it off until after the election? That says to me it bodes very ominously for your industry.
Oh, absolutely it does, Peter. Can I say this has been a year of hell for the people of Strahan, the 450 employees in the salmon industry. There are 5,000 salmon workers across our state, and they're all watching and waiting with bated breath for the minister to make a decision. She has all of the information she needs, and let's not forget this whole process started because of referrals from green activist groups, including the Bob Brown Foundation, the taxpayer-funded Environmental Defenders Office. So this is a totally unnecessary review, and the science bears that out. So this decision is very bad for my state, and I cannot believe there is not a single Labor member or senator who's not put their head up and said, Tanya, do the right thing. Labor's supposed to be the friend of the worker. What are we doing? But they are being driven by a green ideology. And of course, Tanya Plibersek, like so many other inner city, lower house environment ministers from places like Sydney have done so before. They will sacrifice an industry to save their seat.
Dono, electorally, Tasmania is almost like a whole lot of little countries. The green sort of tinge view down south doesn't match the needs of working class people and jobs and what I'd regard as sort of old blue collar industries in the north. Go back to that infamous election 2004, Mark Latham up against John Howard, and John Howard walked into a hall packed full of unionised timber workers, and they basically treated him like the Messiah because he said, I'm there to protect your jobs. And that cost Labor seats, it cost them government, Mark Latham's chance of government. This is going to play out, I think, very negatively for Labor at the coming election.
Yeah, absolutely it will, Peter. And it was Dick Adams, the then member for Lions, who went against Mark Latham's Sydney-centric, Melbourne-centric view of the world and telling Tassie how to do business. It's the one time in our lives we ever got to see John Howard crowd surf on CFM MEU workers. But Dick Adams, who went against Mark Latham, won his seat back. The two Northern Bass and Braddon members, who were from Labor, lost their seats to the Liberals because we stood with industries that were sustainable and are packed full of honest, hard-working men and women. This reeks of that, and it is a government that is dictated to by the Greens in large part because of how their ideology is these days. But with this extension, we're now talking about a 2-year delay on an assessment. Another Christmas, another Easter, another financial year. I mean, the Crimean War was fought in a shorter period of time than it's taken Tanya Plibersek to make a decision about this. The science is clear. She should back in the industry.
Jonathon Duniam, I'm assuming you're a member of the Chairman's Lounge. Are you aware of this special number the Prime Minister claims he used to call Qantas and get upgrades all the way to first class for his private holiday travel? Do you have that number?
No, sadly, I don't have that number. And I reckon if my colleagues or I did, it'd probably get wrung off the hook. But what a ridiculous claim. I mean, he's been caught out. it's not about the fact that he received upgrades. It's not about the fact he did or didn't declare it. It's about the fact that he procured them, at least as the allegation goes. And he was Transport Minister or Shadow Transport Minister at the time. This does not sit right at all, and he seriously has to clear this whole thing up, or else we will be forced in the Senate to have an inquiry into this. And I think Australians want to know the truth around how Albo got himself into first class on so many flights.
You've got Senate estimates coming up. Are you going to pursue it?
I reckon there might be one or two questions about this, and, it'll be interesting to see what government minister at the table, probably Penny Wong, I suspect, will say in response to these questions. But it'll be the deflection, a bit of the Baghdad Bob, nothing to see here, we declared everything. Honestly, I think off the back of the housing debacle with his multi-million-dollar mansion, I don't begrudge him buying that, but when you claim to be a man of the people and have your backstory as one that he does, this new narrative that's forming around our very well-heeled Prime Minister is starting to bite and take the gloss off, as others have said.
Yeah, not wrong when salmon farmers are going to lose their jobs. Thank you, Senator Duniam.